Hi everyone, it's Scott here. What capital city, what suburb should you invest in? The mega boom is coming from 2023 to 2027, and where should you make your next property investment? I'm gonna unpack that in this video right now. Let's go. So let's take a quick look at the state-by-state capital city numbers. Let's just take a quick look at Melbourne. What does Melbourne have going for it? It's ranked number 3 as one of the most livable cities. Sydney comes in there at number 4. Melbourne has one of the top infrastructure spend around the country. They've also got a big debt to go with that. But that government debt that they're spending on infrastructure, as an investor, you can ride that debt because that debt is going to be spent in the local economy to accommodate all of this population growth and to keep the city livable. But you as an investor can ride the profit and the growth that that debt will create. So I encourage you to jump on board of that. Here are just some of the infrastructure investments you can see. These are really big projects that are going to help make and keep the city livable for the next 20 years to cope with all of this population expansion. And you can also see that Victoria has the highest gross state product, which is kind of like GDP at a state level. They're growing way faster than anyone else, as you can see here. And that's why I'm personally buying so much property in Victoria, and so are our clients. Now, there's also strong auction clearance rates. We've had one of the strongest starts to the spring selling season since 2016 for both Sydney and Melbourne. And Melbourne house prices poised to jump a minimum of 12% in 2025. And again, that's the average number, not on the individual suburb level. Now let's take a look at Sydney. So Sydney's a big employment hub. Sydney is the biggest employer across the country. As of right now, it's the innovation capital of Australia. There's good universities here too. And we get a lot of tourism here in Sydney as well. It's the second state for infrastructure spending. It's the largest share of the GDP. And I'm gonna share a case study with you of Sydney. I'm not personally investing in Sydney right now. The yields are not quite there, and there's better growth and more affordable property in some other areas. Adelaide is the third top state for infrastructure spending. And you can see here that the rents in Adelaide have gone absolutely ballistic. They've grown 47%. You can see here that the dwelling price gap is at 15% below the other combined capital cities. There's some growth potential there. It's a resilient dwelling market. So Adelaide is only one of 2 states that have stayed on positive annual growth despite the increasing cash rates, which has been fantastic. Brisbane have the 2032 Olympics. They've recommitted to that after Victoria cancelled the Commonwealth Games. So the 2032 Olympics will go ahead in Brisbane. And you can see here that these are just some of the areas in terms of the Olympic venues. So there'll be a lot of infrastructure that goes into these areas as well, which you can ride. Now, what's actually happening in Queensland is the building approvals way down. It's probably the worst in the country. So the supply crisis is very acute in Brisbane. And you can see here that the rents here have gone ballistic as well, with 48% growing there as well for houses and 45% for units. If you're a landlord there, you've seen your rents go way up. In terms of Perth, you can see here it's also a resilient dwelling market. Perth is one of only 2 states that have stayed positive annual growth despite increasing rates. And you can see that growth right there. We actually have put more than 1,000 clients into Perth just in the last 18 months alone. Now, even though you see some growth here, there's more growth to come. Perth is a beautiful city. It's the 3rd largest city in the nation by 2050. This is because of the exponential growth here. So for Perth to get to the 3rd largest city by 2050, I think this is absolutely incredible. So in terms of a long-term investment, Perth is definitely there. And you can see here the price gap. So there's still a 25% price gap. This is a huge gap, keeping in mind that the average annual income of someone in Perth is higher than Sydney. So these people earn good money, but the property prices there are so low. They've stayed low because there hasn't been the population growth there in the last 10 years. But now we are seeing that population growth explode in Perth. That's going to drive the prices up. You can see here the rental yields. And in fact, we have just put together a really great deal in Perth. We're able to get 50 blocks of land at a discount. We're able to negotiate with 3 different builders with an impeccable record, strong balance sheet, very, very safe to build with. We're able to negotiate a discount on the build price across 50 builds. And in addition to that, we were able to get a local rental management company to offer a rental guarantee of 6% or more on those properties. It's been so good that most of our staff are trying to grab those, but Perth is a really good opportunity as well. The rental yields in Perth are the highest in the country right now. Thanks guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe so you get more content and videos like this. Also, you can follow me on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And guys, leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about the video and also where you're thinking of investing next.